You are live.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Education MLL Curriculum Subcommittee meeting. Today is Wednesday, March 18th. The time is now 6:02 p.m. And with us this evening, I have board member Sherry McCready Pritchett. I have NPS staff and MLL from the Family Center. We have Francis Hayes and Taylor De Silva. And with that, I am going to ask Sherry, were you able to look at the minutes? Any changes or updates on it?
Yes, no, it was fine. It was something noted on there. I guess it was informational, right? Because
Yes.
So no, I will make a motion to approve those.
Okay, thank you. So minutes approved. And with that, Francis, it's all yours.
Thank you. Good evening, ML Subcommittee. I know it's been a while since we've seen each other, and I'm truly happy to be here today to share some data, program information, and updates from the ML department and from the Family Center. So Taylor, take us to slide number 3, MPS student enrollment data. So this slide represents total student enrollment across all grade levels, including pre-K through high school, as well as a breakdown of multilingual learners, duly identified students, monitor students, for a total of 11,313 students, including 2,486 multilingual learners. That brings us at 22% and 617 duly identified students and 350 monitor students. When we talk about duly identified students, those are the students that receive 2 services. They receive special needs services and they also receive ESL services. And when we talk about monitor students, of the 315 monitor students, those are students that in the past 2 years have met proficiency, have passed the last links, but we continue to monitor them and check on them based on their needs. If they're doing well, we just don't want to transition into just a general ed class without any type of language support. So we make sure we monitor them for 2 years. On the next slide, we have been receiving calls about the kindergarten policy. So we want to take this opportunity to share with the updates with the subcommittee, just in case families start to ask. And I think, Diana, a few families, you refer them to the family centers who were inquiring about that. So I want to revisit the kindergarten policy entry age. As we all know, prior to the 2024-2025 school year, Connecticut kindergarten entry rule was that a child could start kindergarten if they turned 5 years old on or before January 1st of the school year. What that meant in practice is that the students who were still 4 at the start of the school year, if their birthday was between September and December, they could still enroll as long as they turned 5 by January 1st. This made Connecticut one of the states with the youngest kindergarten entry age in the US. But that had to change because some of the students were really not yet socially ready to even start at that grade level. So the policy changed in 2024-2025. And how it changed, it required that students who turned 5 years old on or before September 1st to be eligible for kindergarten enrollment. At that time, we were allowed, as a district, waivers were available for families who wish to enroll their children at the age of 4. And we are currently honoring those waivers this year. But by the state guidelines, starting with 2027-2028 school year, the waiver process will no longer be available to families. This change will take effect July 1st, 2027. So the scholars must turn 5 by September 1st. Any questions?
No questions.
Okay. So that being said, I wanted also to share our current data for 2025-2026 school year. We had a total of 766 kindergarten students. So this gives us a ballpark about what our numbers look like in terms of students that are in kindergarten now in Norwalk. And also out of those 766 students, we have 174 who enter at the age of 4 with the waiver. And we have 216 identified as multilingual learners in kindergartens. This helps us illustrate the projected number of students that we may have coming in this school year and possible the following school year. On the following slide is our live data, our current data. We opened up the registration on February 1st. We had in the month of February a total of 405 kindergarten registrations. 102 of those students in February were of the age of 4. We administered in February 53 ASQ assessments. That's the assessment for the waivers. And we assessed 67 who might have been eligible for MLL service in the pre-last, and 48 who qualified. Now, a month and about 2 weeks, in March 18, these are what our numbers look like now. So we went from 405 to 461 scholars. Now, remember, this year we have a total of 766, and it's only March,
Wow.
and we already have 461 registers. Where you see pending, 377 pending, those are the total number of students who still have to submit documentation to finalize their registrations. So those cases are still pending. And we send reminders to the family to make sure that those documents, immunization, and everything is in on time. So our RFCs are following up with all these cases at the same time, assessing and registering.
That's a lot of work, but I'm sure families are very thankful that they can go to one place to do all of this.
Yeah,
The family
yeah.
center is very important.
So Francis,
They love the family center.
does that 461 get added to the 766, or no? That's inclusive of the 766.
No, the 766 is what we currently have in school now.
Total. Okay.
Total. That's so
Right.
we could like make projections of what's the influx that might come in. It depends how many children were born in that age, but
Correct.
it's always very close. What we
Right.
have now is these registration for kindergarten and for the upcoming school year. We opened that up February 1st. So we're assessing them, preparing them, placing them in their schools. Once they are finalized with the
Oh,
registration.
okay, I see. This is for the upcoming year. I got you. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 766 is the current school year.
Yeah, it's okay. That's what's currently happening now.
Good evening,
So-
everyone. I just want to add, this is Rob. I'm sorry.
Hi, Rob.
One important piece, and I know Francis mentioned it, and I just think from a community standpoint, it will be a shift, is the change in law. And so it will not have an impact this fall, but it will have an impact on families the following fall. And I think that it's important that we can get out communication about this, because it's just families are going to have to make decisions around preschool and some of those nature, because that waiver is not going to be allowed anymore. And so I think that in the fall of 2027, we will see lower numbers in our kindergarten class, because, as Francis shared, you can see the number of families that are within that turning 5 between September and January. So it will have an impact on the number of kindergarten sections that school year. It will have an impact, I think, also on preschool. So I just want to reiterate that fact, is that it has not at this point had a substantial impact, because we do have families that are waiting. But we do have a lot of families that are going to kindergarten, and the ones who are choosing to go to kindergarten for the 27-28 school year, that will not be permitted under the new policy. And when I say policy, new state policy.
Mhm. So on the next slide, one of the things that I wanted to really revisit was the opportunity to share some more information about the bilingual programs that exist in Norwalk and throughout the state, and the opportunity to further discuss it, because I know in our previous board workshop, there might have been some more questions, and I want to allow the committee to have to address those questions here. So I had stated before, in terms of the bilingual programs, we have the English as a second language, the transitional bilingual, and the dual language programs. The English as a second language is usually the program that is serviced by a TESOL teacher, a teacher of English of a second language, and they're usually provided during a push-in model or pulling out small groups from the classrooms. And that's available throughout the district. The transitional bilingual program, this program is more focused on the students being serviced in the native language in most of the content areas, and they're weaned out of their native language until they transition fully into an English or classroom. This is a subtractive program where it aims for the student to function entirely in English and not really keep their native language unless it's supported at home. And then we have our dual language program in certain schools that I will be sharing. And this program provides students instruction in two languages so that they could become bilingual and biliterate. On the following slide, these are the two types of dual language programs. It's the two-way dual language immersion program and the one-way dual language program. And in both programs, instruction is available in both languages. It could be Mandarin, it could be Haitian Creole, it could be Spanish, depending on the student population of the community. It's offered in the two-way to native English speakers and also the targeted language, depending on the student population. In the one-way dual language immersion, it's one background native speakers, either Spanish, Haitian Creole, I use that example, or Mandarin, and there's all the students are in the classroom from the same background. But the most important part is that the language of instruction is provided 50-50 language allocation for the individual students or in a two-way dual language with a partner native speaker of a partner language and native speakers of English. In this slide, it's the language allocation. In a full immersion model, which we don't use here in Norwalk Public School, they start with the native language. When we talk about targeted language, you start with the native language in kindergarten. It's 90% of the instruction. So almost all the subjects are taught in the targeted language, and 10% is in English. And as the grades go up, they start to decrease the targeted language, but increase the English until it reaches 50-50. What we currently have here in Norwalk is the 50-50 model, where the instruction is 50-50 from kindergarten all the way to fifth grade, and in our middle school, West Rock, it's 50-50, but they do it in a content. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. In the next slide, this is an example of a dual language schedule. This one actually is from Jefferson. And where it indicates it in blue, that instruction is given in English. And where it's indicated in green, that instruction is provided in Spanish. And Jefferson does a really nice job where I believe the minutes are 150 minutes equally for both languages, and it's provided in different contents.
So there are different staffing requirements for dual language programs. We have a couple different models in our elementary schools. For example, we have a self-contained model, which is one teacher that teaches both languages and can switch for different contents. We also have a side-by-side model where there is one English teacher and they stick in the target language of English for their contents. And then there's a partner teacher that does the Spanish for the other different contents and Spanish language arts. In the middle school, we have at West Rocks, we have a departmental model where there are different contents, different content teachers, and the different teachers either present in English or in Spanish. So those are just some of the different staffing requirements. Staff also require a bilingual cross endorsement. It's a certification on top of a elementary certificate or a content level certificate in secondary. And we also partner with the ArcTel program, which is from Connecticut and helps our teachers to obtain that bilingual cross endorsement. And our teachers must teach in our district for 3 years. So it's really a great opportunity for our teachers to obtain their bilingual cross endorsement and really build their skills and stay with us at Norwalk Public Schools.
I just want to add that the side-by-side model requires 2 classes where they switch over to instruct both classes, the teachers.
There are so many benefits.
Yes.
I was just going to ask a question. So going back a little bit, so with the ESL, it notes that it focuses on listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So if one does the dual language, do they get that rigor as well, or they don't? They do.
Yes, they do. That's an excellent question. The only difference is how you're providing the services. So with the ESL, the students are placed in a only English classroom, but to provide them the support, we give them a second teacher to go and push in and keep the same instruction, whether it's in dual language or whether it's in an ESL. The only thing they get the support of building up the native language in a dual language. And we're going to show you research how that shows that's the best model for really instructing multilingual learners.
Yeah. Of course, as you know, we've talked about this before. There's so many benefits of dual language programs. First of all, the benefit of bilingualism, especially when you have a two-way model, when we have students from all different cultures, they're able to share, they're able to bring that back home. There's stronger cultural awareness, identity. It really brings out the diversity of a community. There's higher academic achievement. I know Francis is going to talk a little bit more about data with that, improved cognitive skills, and of course, as we know, better career opportunities in a global market when you're bilingual or speak more than one language. Of course, this does make us have, we need qualified bilingual teachers. Sometimes, that can be a challenge, but we're always out there in recruiting. We have that ArcTel program again. There is limited funding and resources for bilingual programs, but we're really making that work and providing a lot of professional development and different opportunities to schools that do offer the different bilingual programs, especially the dual language program. So research shows that all students in a dual language program attain higher academic achievement. There's stronger cognitive flexibility, problem-solving skills, and really teaching in a dual language program can close that gap. I know Francis wanted to talk a little bit more.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we really try to inform families who want to be in dual language programs is the importance of sustaining that child in that program. That switching from one program to another program makes it difficult to sustain and develop the language skills. So the research has found that for it to really be implemented well and for it to be effective so that we could really support the students and see them closing up that gap is that the research showed that in the early grades of K-2, the dual language students may appear at the beginning slightly behind while they build their skills in 2 languages. But around grades 3 and 4, performance typically starts to catch up. But then by grades 5 and 8, students in dual language programs, both students, MLLs and and non-ML often outperform peers in English-only programs in academic achievement. And these patterns have been commonly reported through the long-term studies by Thomas and Kohler. They did a 30-year research on bilingual education. So we really emphasize for administrators and families that we at least keep students at least in the 6th year of the bilingual instruction, often to really close the gap. And that the best model is really integrating a non-MLs with English speakers, like in the two-way dual language program. And that shows that they outperform, as you see in the scale on this chart.
So this is just a few common myths versus facts. So there's a myth out there that learning more than one language can confuse children, especially students who may be coming with Spanish first and wanting to learn English, but that's not true. Our children have the capacity to learn more than one language. Another myth that parents must speak the target language first. That's not true. Children can learn more than one language, and they bring them in their house. And how empowering for children to be able to learn more than one language and share that with their family. Another myth that bilingual programs will slow down English learning, and that's not true. Students, of course, can learn more than one language, and having that strong capacity in their first language just helps them learn a second language. And also another myth that dual language programs are just for English learners. But we know in our district especially, we have a dual language program that's two-way. We have native English speakers, we have non-native English speakers, and they're learning languages together. So how empowering for students to be able to teach each other their language and converse and share culture, identity, and different resources.
Yeah, I mean, talking about that, I'm a perfect example because I grew up in a household where we were only to speak Spanish. So Spanish was actually my first language. And it wasn't until I started going to school to go to school, and I learned English. So dad pushed Spanish at home because that was our first language. But once we started going to school, he pushed English because that was our second language. Mm-hmm. And all three of my siblings and I are both bilingual, and to see how it works, personally, I know that it does, and it's great. But my other question is, what other languages does our staff speak? Because I know you've mentioned multiple languages. So what kind of languages are our staff speaking besides Spanish?
I know that in Norwalk High, we have about, I think, 20 Haitian Creole scholars, and we're supporting them with a Haitian Creole paraeducator because it's so difficult to find bilingual teachers, Spanish or Haitian Creole. Mm-hmm. But when we cannot, we show the state that we've made an attempt to be able to hire a bilingual staff. And if we don't, then our next step is providing them the support with bilingual para in the language, the targeted language that we need to support those students. So that's an example in Norwalk High. I also believe that, I'm trying to think back, we have 1 or 2 students that speak Arabic, but the state mandates that we must have a total number of 20 of the targeted language to be able to hire and support. But the teachers that are TESOL certified are servicing those students.
That's great. Thank you.
So I shared this slide before, and I just wanted to just have the opportunity to show you again that we have 3 schools with two-way dual language programs that provide this amazing program to also MLLs and not MLL students. these programs are running really nicely, and families are very happy that, especially in Brookside, where we introduced it in Brookside, we had a list of non-ML family that definitely wanted their students to have the opportunity to engage in such a program.
Just want to highlight a few of our professional learning opportunities that we've had so far this year provided by the Multilingual Learner Department. We've done a lot of work in our schools. Francis and I, along with our MLL coach, Alyssa Canonico, we've put together a dual language professional learning committee. These are representatives from our dual language programs. They come here to the Family Center. They work on curriculum together, really a team effort to look at the Spanish language arts curriculum, lesson plan together, share resources. It's such a great use of time that they get to have here. We also do cycles of support with Lost Links data. So we've done a few schools this year. Prior to the Lost Links assessment that actually the window just closed last week, we were able to go into a few schools and help look at at student data and student growth data to see where we could really support students, either in the areas of oral or literacy, and really push them to meet their growth targets this year. We do a lot with our high school students. We do a lot of transcript reviews. We provide a multilingual learner summer academy and a lot of student re-engagement. We know that it's very easy for some of our high school students to maybe get off track. They have multiple responsibilities, but just making sure that our students know that graduating in a 4-year timeline is our goal for each and every student. And we will make sure that we create the pathway to support them. We also have done school-based professional development sessions. So at Fox Run and Cranberry, for example, we did different strategies for engaging students in academic discourse, just making sure our students are talking and sharing ideas, and also how to really engage students in grade level text. We want to make sure that we are not watering down the curriculum at all. We are keeping the rigor, but we're creating different entry points for students and supporting them because we know that if we water it down, they won't have that same grade level vocabulary. They need that. Just because their English or their reading levels might not be there does not mean that they shouldn't be introduced to those grade level texts, the vocabulary and different text structures.
Mm-hmm.
We've also have had a lot of different support from QTEL. So we've done West Ed coaching sessions. We're really excited for in the next couple of weeks for our next one. We've brought in a group of teachers and it's been great. We lesson plan together. We model for each other. We go in and really support each other. And for this, we call ourselves the QTEL queens in this group. So it's really been super empowering. And I think we're 3 different schools right now. It's been a great experience to really build each other up and share what we do at our school. So a great way to kind of cross-pollinate here. We've had a lot of different QTEL professional development. We have our next one tomorrow. It's a hybrid session, so we'll be at 46 Concord. And there we're learning different strategies from QTEL. I think we have about 40 or 50 in attendance, as well as our literacy coaches. So it's really bringing the different supports back. We call them tasks when it comes to QTEL. And it's just different tasks that teachers or coaches are helping our teachers embed in their lesson plans to really build up engagement and oral discourse with our students. So we can make sure there's listening, speaking, reading, and writing in every single lesson. So it's really been great. We've had a QTEL West Ed conference that we've had the MLL department, dual language administrators and coaches. They really did a deep dive into a lot of those different tasks and the QTEL methodology. And we've also had it was last week that this happened. It was a really great professional learning session for our dual language administrators to really learn the background of dual language programs, the different options, different research, really enabling our dual language schools, our administrators, to make great decisions about their programs, leading those pathways forward.
I like to add, and developing their capacity so that they could turn key within their own schools.
This is really great information. I love hearing about this. I would hope that this would mean that we're moving towards a bilingual nation. You know, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about Spanish language speakers, or actually anybody who speaks another language, but this person was predominantly talking about Spanish and the need for people to learn English. And I said, well, what's the matter with us moving towards a bilingual nation? Most other people in other countries speak 2 or 3 languages. And just because we're moving towards being bilingual does not mean we're telling anybody they can't speak English, right? It's a positive. And I just hope that as a nation that we get there, but I'm glad that we are doing that here.
Thank you. I went to Aruba and I was amazed by the community when I met them. They speak 4 languages.
Yeah,
They
Papiamento.
cannot.
I know.
Huh? What?
They speak a language called Papiamento, right?
See,
In
yeah,
Spanish and French and
French and
English.
English,
Yes.
and they graduate. So I was talking to a lot of people about, so how do they do it in your school? How did it start? Because I wanted to learn, how do you get people to graduate with 4 languages? Then I found out my family's originally from Aruba. That made me even more excited. I didn't even know.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh my
I did
God.
not know that my
Wow.
great-great-grandfather and are from
Wow.
Aruba.
Wow, that's my
I
favorite
found an
island.
article about Dr.
Wow.
Fanduis. Wow, so that was exciting for me.
Wow.
Yeah. So now that we're like in March, my team and I do a lot of reflection. And the ML department, I consider it, we're a small, strong, and mighty team. And we're very proud of the work that we've done and how we've really transformed the experience for families and scholars. As you see on this slide, the list, we've expanded access, strengthening academic pathways and deepening family engagement through the Family Center. I think we've really enhanced equity and opportunities by growing our dual language programs, increasing ML access to advanced courses and courses during summer schools that they didn't have opportunity to take during the school year, and formalizing the ML service requirements. When we first got here, not all the MLs were getting service, and we set up a service requirement that mandated for all MLs to be serviced, and really making sure that the administration follows those requirements so that no child is left behind. Academic pathways were strengthened through the revised high school credit guidelines. We took a look at all the credit courses that were being offered to MLs and really pushed for the integration of MLs in the general ed courses with peers that were non-MLs so that they could engage in conversations and ideas and learning the core curriculum. Along with new opportunities like internships that we have here at the Family Center. We're waiting for our high school students to come over and are placed throughout the district in the internships. We always have like 6, and we're so proud of them. We do a celebration at the end because most of them have selected career path and are being successful, and we meet with those families. And most important, the Accelerated Summer Program to support on-time graduation, not to have them set up where they could only graduate within 6 years, but actually giving the courses they need and monitoring those transcripts constantly. This team is review the transcripts in the beginning, review it mid-year, and follow up with those guidance counselors, make sure they're getting the courses that they need. At the same time, I really feel we elevated the family and the community by engaging them, by opening the centralized family center and expanding the parents' learning opportunities through workshop and creating a stronger connection between schools and families. I just had 2 families here reaching out for support and being the liaison between myself, them, and the school to be able to effectively communicate their needs so that they could feel supported. So, Taylor?
Yeah. So we've had a few family workshops and events this year, most notably our Thanksgiving community giveaway. It was a huge turnout at 46 Concord. We were able to do that and give away bags of food and either a ham or a turkey. So it was a great experience. The line was wrapped around the block. The need is there in our community, and along with our pantry, we also have these community events. So it's great to be a part of. Our annual holiday read aloud with Dr. Estrella. I think this year we were close to 100 students we were able to sponsor with a gift. And those students were picked out by the social workers in each of the elementary schools. The families were invited for a great event with a nice read aloud with Dr. Estrella. And then they were given their gift at the end. Another great event. And this is our, I think, third annual, right, Francis? Our Say
Yes.
Yes to a Dress and Suit. This year it's going to be set up as a boutique where our high school students can come shopping for a beautiful prom dress or a suit to gear up for prom. So we're really excited. I think our first one is actually next week, March 26th. So our students, it's just going to be an open house. Our students can come in from 2 to 6 p.m. right here at 1 Park Street. I know we're setting up right now. It's chock full of dresses. So our students can come in and pick out a great outfit.
I have to add that in terms of the Thanksgiving community giveaway, we give a lot of credit, our partnership with Norwalk Mutual Aid, who's really been a partner in this giveaway and in our pantry. So kudos to Norwalk Mutual Aid for all their support to us and the community.
All right. And with that, we leave room for any questions.
Do you guys need more suits, dresses, any requests so that we can help try to get the word out, us as individuals, the board members?
Yes, so we need suits. We have an amazing total number of over 400 dresses.
Mm-hmm.
So we really need suits for those who want to wear a suit. We could use that. Pants, shirts, for the formal attires. Yeah,
Okay.
we appreciate the help with that.
Sounds good. I'm trying to get my husband to remove some of the many items that is overstuffing the closet. So yes, I should be able to get you some suits and shirts.
Thank you, thank you.
That's awesome.
Let's clean out all our husbands and boys'
Yes.
closet.
Oh my
I'm already
Bring it over.
Ethan is not here, but I can walk down the hallway into his closet and see. All right.
That was a good presentation. Thank you so much for all the information, for all
Yeah,
the good work.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. We really appreciate your support, and you too, Diana. You guys are always there for us, and we really appreciate it from the
Well,
bottom of our heart.
thank you for the hard lift on your end.
Yes.
But okay, so if no other questions, I know it's been a long day.
Yep.
So motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good night,
you.
everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.